Beautiful Boy is an Amazon Studios film released in late 2018. It stars Steve Carell and Timothée Chalamet, and this is based off of a true story about a journalist, David Sheff, played by Carell, trying to help his son, Nick Sheff, played by Chalamet, overcome drug addiction. That's the main gist of it. Nick is actually a good boy, but the drugs have gotten into his life and ruined it. And his dedicated father is trying to help him. His parents were divorced, and his father's actually got custody over him, which is surprising, and remarried, and that's really how the story goes. First off, the biggest reason I really wanted to see this movie was for Steve Carell. I really love his work in comedy, and especially The Office. I've never really seen him in a drama role before. It didn't really come to me as a surprise though, because of his previous work in Foxcatcher and other things, but I was really ready to see him in a different role that I've never really gotten a chance to see him in. And he was probably the best part of this movie. His performance was so sensational, and I love that so much. Timothée Chalamet was also very good in the movie. The performances were definitely the best part of this movie. Amy Ryan actually played the mom in the movie, and it was really cool to see Carell and Ryan interact on screen again ever since their on-screen relationship on The Office. This movie was also decently shot. It wasn't really the standout of the movie, but there were some pretty beautiful shots in the movie. But now to get onto the flaws. The worst thing about this movie was absolutely the soundtrack. I never really seemed to have a problem with the film score. Obviously, if the sound is great, I will point it out, but I almost never really have a problem with the film score. But the score in this movie was so messy. Some of the music was just so hard to listen to, and some of it didn't even fit into the right scene. They could go from heavy metal to light rock to royalty-free jazz music to opera. It really just never really settled on one kind of music and could really mess up the tone of this movie. That's why sometimes I feel like the tone of this movie could be very messy. There are some editing choices that I wasn't really a fan of, especially all the flashback scenes. The timeline of this movie felt very messed up at times and gave me serious issues. It got me so confused at times because it went from a previous moment and went back to the present day, and all of a sudden it went back to a different place in time, and it just left me very confused, and it was hard for me to focus on the actual movie and the story. Sometimes I feel like they could have showed more of the drug use and the effect it had on his life. There were some large chunks in the movie where they just went back to better moments of his life and showing that he's a good person, but I feel like they should have shown more of what he did and more of his struggles rather than just going back and showing the good parts of his life, which is still good, or just going back to his father's life. The thing that surprised me the most probably was about how dedicated a father David Sheff was. He really loved and cared about his son. It also showed me that drugs are not fun or good. They make it look painful and boring and just something I would personally never want to do. I feel like a lot of movies these days make it look like it's fun, but this movie definitely showed how it can affect your life and ruin it. It was also cool to see how he came from a good and healthy family. I feel like most of the time when we look at people that are addicted to drugs, they come from a sad or dangerous past, but this movie showed that a perfectly healthy and good person can do drugs and ruin their life. I love the concept, I love the story, I love the acting, but I felt like some of the editing and the music could have been better and less messy. Altogether though, I feel like Beautiful Boy was a movie with a great concept and theme, but they just could have executed it better than it did. I'm gonna give Beautiful Boy a B-. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Beautiful Boy was a really well-made movie with just a few minor mistakes and choices I wasn't a fan of, but I feel like they got their point across, and that's all that really mattered. Please tell me what you think about Beautiful Boy in the comments below, and give the video a like, and please subscribe to this channel if you like content like this. This is Ethan Butler, and I'm out.